Okay, in this video we will talk about geospatial lookups in Splunk. Okay, so geospatial lookups are very unique kind of lookup in Splunk where it matches the coordinate information from your events to a special file called Keyhole Markup Zip or Keyhole Markup Language, basically KML file. Okay, and then it extracts the feature related information. Okay, we'll see what there is a concept called feature and feature collection, basically feature ID and feature collection over here. Okay, so it basically pulls that feature ID and feature collection information over here. Now then that information can be used by lot of commands in Splunk like geom to render that choropleth math over there. Okay, now as we have seen previously, we talked about KV-store lookup, we talked about external lookup, right? I still not created a video for CSB lookup, that is the most basic lookup in Splunk. Okay, so over there it's always a requirement that we need to have a file, right? So for external, for CSV lookup, we used to have a CSV file which is basically holding the information of that matching, right? So some that in our events there will be some records or some field values which will be matching with the lookup value, and then we are basically fetching the extra information from our CSV file, right? Similarly in KV store, it is stored in inside the Splunk as a KV store, and then we can use just like a normal lookup we do for the CSV lookup. And for external lookup, we basically created a Python script which is basically doing that job of that lookup, right? So basically in this, as a whole, this lookup concept is you send something to the lookup, some information which is already present in the lookup with some extra information, and then lookup basically returns those extra information and add it to your event as a extra fields over there, right? So basically it is enriching your event knowledge or the data about your event, right? Now similarly, these geospatial lookups are also add some values to your events or some data to your event. Okay, and it looks up something. So what it is looks up, it looks up the coordinate information and basically longitude and latitude values, and then it reads that longitude latitude values from a special file, as I told you, this kmz file or kml file. We'll see shortly what this files looks like. Okay, and then it basically fetches the information about the feature ID and the feature collection over here. Now there is two new word I am introducing, right? The feature ID and the feature collection. So let us talk about that. Now for that, let me tell you what I'm going to do today. Okay, so I have a KMZ file or KML file for India. So what I'll be creating a very sample data. Okay, two sample data, and the main intention over here is to display those sample informations. Okay, the coordinate information I'll be taking, let's say two state, let's say West Bengal or Karnataka. Okay, then I'll be displaying it inside the choropleth map in Splunk. Okay, those two states of India. That means if you see, like by default Splunk comes up with two lookup files, right? If I just show you over here, Splunk etc apps, it basically stored inside the search app, right? Search lookups. If you go over there, there are two already KMZ file comes by default with Splunk, US states and countries, geo countries over here, like all over the countries in the world. Now suppose in your requirement you are analyzing at the state level of India, or maybe for all the states of India, or for all the states of any other countries over there, right? So in that case you need to first gather the KML file for that particular region. Okay, then you can map it. Then we will be using this geospatial lookup to look up those values over there. Now let me show you the data. So this is my KML file I downloaded from internet. Okay, about India. So all the states in India. So I did not take any particular states. So it's basically this KML files actually belongs to for all the states. Now if you need to have a state level information, maybe you need to download that particular state KML file and then work on it over here in the similar way. Okay, so this is, if you see for geospatial lookup, this is the lookup file structure is. Okay, it's a very, now one thing is like this KML files, right? So KML files, they have lot of structure, lot of architecture over here. People write in a lot of different ways, okay? Because if you see, it's a pure XML file over here, right? So based on your KML file, you have to configure Splunk accordingly so that Splunk can understand your KML file. We'll see in very shortly about that one, okay? Now let me tell you how informations are stored in this particular file. Now if you see, like from beginning, it has lot of information over here, but the main informations are stored inside this one. If I just go down a bit, if you see, there is a tag called place mark over here, right? So there are a lot of place mark tag over here. Now for each and every state, so this, if you see, this is for Daman and Diu, right? And the below one is for, I think, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, right? So for each and every state, we have a separate place marks over here, okay? So separate, if I just find that one, separate place mark tags. Inside that one, there are a lot of informations are stored, like what are the name of that particular state, okay, ID, the layer, and the most precise information is that coordinates over here. If you see, it's stored under a polygon, okay, under a polygon tag over here. So for each and every state, you will find the coordinate ranges over here, right? Which coordinates are basically falls into this particular range. So it creates a range over here, okay? So basically, when your events will have some coordinate details, right? So internally, this geospatial lookup maps that coordinates with this one. So it basically matches the coordinates, those coordinates in your event, to the coordinates over here, okay? And determine which state it belongs to, or which country it belongs to, okay, or which county it belongs to. So right, so those, if you see those states, countries, or counties I am talking about, those are called features over here, or the feature ID over here, okay? So each and every state, city, or county has their own IDs in this KML file. So those are called feature ID over here. Now in very normal, like if you see, most often those names are stored over here in this tag under place mark name tag over here, okay? So those names are stored, but there are a lot of KML files which are having different architecture, just like this one over here. For this particular KML file, the name of that particular region is stored under this value tag over here, right, under extended data. And there are a lot of data tags over here, right? There are a lot of data tags, and the tags which are having name as name, this attribute, right? Under that tag, the value tag is storing actually the name of that particular state. So in this case, we have to tell Splunk like where my name is stored, so that it can generate that information. Now what kind of information? So let us try to see it first, the existing lookup Splunk is having, right? So suppose if I just say geo US states over here, this is how you see a lookup file, geospatial lookup files, just like other lookup files as well. Input lookup geo US states. If I just see it over here, like it is having a feature collection. So we talked about feature ID over here, right? Feature ID just nothing but, as it is US states, so it is a different states name over there, right? And their corresponding coordinate ranges. And the feature collection is the name of that collection. Like if it is a list of states, maybe it is the name of that particular lookup file, you can say, right? So it is a collection name over there, okay? So the lookup command, the lookup of the geospatial lookup actually extract these two informations by reading this particular KML file. So if we configure that KML file properly, okay, and create the lookup, it should be able to display information something like this one. Then from your event, the coordinates it picks up, okay, and then it matches with this coordinate ranges, and it's basically return you the feature ID and feature collection, that geospatial lookup, okay? So that's the overall architecture over here. So to start with, let us do one thing. Let us try to implement our map of India over here. Okay, so for that, what we'll do is we will, just like we do for other lookups, right? We'll go to settings, lookups over here. Okay, lookup table files, we'll just add new. Okay, so we'll keep it inside the destination app search only. Now we'll select that KML file. Okay, and generally whatever file we are choosing it over here, right, in the destination file name we used to give the same name, right? So we'll give India stats dot. Okay, over here I have to I forgot to tell you another stuff over here. We generally use kmz file. Okay, so from, if you have a KML file, let me tell you this concept as well. So if you have a KML file, right, so that means it's an XML file over here. From here, if you want to create a KMZ file, it's nothing but this Keyhole Markup Zipped file. So what you do, you basically zip it. If I just go to send to compressed zip folder, okay, and then you just rename it to KMZ file over here. Okay, just remove this extension of zip and give KMZ file over here. That is how I created this KMZ file as well. And if I just delete it now, okay, and I just replace this dash with underscore so that it makes sense somehow. Okay, so we will be uploading this KMZ file over here. Okay, so let's choose this file. So India underscore states.kmz. Okay, I think even here you can use the .kml file as well. Okay, and save it. Now after we save this particular file, we will edit its permission. Okay, currently I'll be giving all apps only, so that this particular file will be available at the system level. Okay, and read write permission. So we just need to upload this particular file over here. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to create a transform.conf file where we'll basically set up whether it's a lookup file or not. Okay, so for that what we'll do is we will go to our search app local folder. Okay, so there is a transform.conf file. It is already there for me. If it is not there for you, you may need to create that particular file over here, because I do lot of other stuff over here as well, so that's why it is there. Okay, so in the transform.conf file, first is we have to create a stanza over here, right? So I'll just name it India underscore states. Okay, so this is the stanza name, and this will basically form the lookup name as well. Okay, so this will become our lookup name. And the first thing is we have to give external underscore type. Okay, so this has to be geo over here. Okay, GEO. So this has to be matching, exact case matching as well. Okay, so the external type will be geo. This basically tells this particular lookup will be a geospatial lookup. Okay, and then we have to give a file name over here. File name. So the file name is the file we are using as our KMZ file. Okay, so we'll be giving this file, and this is the file we uploaded over here, right? So we'll just copy the name, we'll paste it over here. Splunk knows how to find this particular file. Okay, so now the most important stuff. Now before that, let me show you why this particular lookup will be failing and how it is extracting information. Now for that we will go back to our lookup file over here. Okay, so now as I told, for most of the geospatial lookup files, that means KML files, okay, the name tag, so the basically name of that particular feature, okay, whether it's a states or it's a country, it's stored under this name tag over here. Okay, so that's how Splunk by default finds this out as well. So place mark, then name. Okay, now as in our case it is not there. Okay, so it will if I just don't tell Splunk, right, how to find that particular name from this tag, it will still try to find from this placement tag and name tag. Okay, and then it will create a feature called ID over here. Okay, try it out. Maybe you just don't give that particular configuration which I am going to tell you now. Okay, and it should not work because I tried that one and it failed over here. It will create a feature called ID over here, which does not make any sense for each and every states. It is true, right? So if I just see all the place marks tag over here, so the name tag always holds ID over here. Okay, so let us do it. It's good to know that. So we have our transform.conf ready. Then we will see like what are the extra information we have to place it over here. Okay, so we will restart Splunk once and see how Splunk is extracting information over there. Okay, so we'll go to settings, server controls, restart Splunk. We'll come back after Splunk restart completed. Okay, our Splunk has been restarted. Let's sign in over there. And let's go to search and reporting app. So we created our lookup, and the lookup name is this one, right? This is our geospatial lookup. So we'll say input lookup, this one, India underscore states. So if I just run this one now, if you see, as we expected, the feature ID field has been extracted only ID over here. It did not extracted any of the Indian states over here, and it's basically accumulated all the regions value over here, and it just create a single row over here, which does not make any sense for us, because if we just give a coordinate over here, it will always choose the full India over here, right? So if I just go to visualizations, maybe I don't know whether it will show up over here or not. It is showing up over here. If you see, right, it is actually showing up full India over here, right? So which we don't want, because in our event there will be a data for location data for different states, right? We cannot select single states from here, right? So for that we need to tell Splunk where to find that particular name tag over here, right? So for that, in transform.conf there is a extra entry you have to do called feature underscore ID comma element over here. Okay, so now this path we have to tell Splunk how to find that particular, right? So this is a XPath expression. Now if you do not have any understanding about XPath, I would suggest you check out this W3 School XPath tutorial. Okay, tutorial W3 schools. They have very basic XPath tutorials. I think that should be enough to understand what XPath is. Basically you are telling like just like how to traverse this particular file, how to traverse like from this tag. If I just want to tell like if I need to find the value tag, okay, so I'll always start with the place mark. Then under that place mark I'll go to extended data. Under the extended data I'll go to data, which is having a attribute called name, and the value of the attribute is name, because there are a lot of data elements over here under extended data, right? And then I will find the value of over here, right? So that is the path I am giving it over here, how to traverse. And for the external lookup you can always start with the place mark over here. Okay, now if I just go to this XPath tutorial over here, so they have written like how to find the XPath syntax and everything, right? So just have a look. Like this is how you select a node, selects from the root node. Okay, this selects the nodes from the current node that we are matching. After double slash, if you give a node name, from there it will start matching. So those stuff. Okay, how to give a attribute name over there, how to give attribute name which is with a specific value over there. So those stuff we'll be using today. Okay, I'll be giving this particular link as well in my video description. Just have a look over there. Okay, so if I just go back to our transform.conf now, okay, so we are starting with, we have to tell Splunk now, right? So we will be starting with the place mark. Now place mark is not a root element over here, right? So that's why we'll be giving double slash and then place mark. That means we are basically telling start with this place mark element over there, Then under the place mark, find the element called extended data. Okay, so find the element called extended data. Now under the extended data, find an element called data with an attributes name equals to name, because of there are a lot of data tags over here, right? So this is how we do it. I'll copy this one, data. Okay, then inside the square bracket, okay, I'll give @ the attribute name is name. If I just show you over here, so this is the attribute name and its value is name over there, right? So I'll just copy it, simple. Okay, so this is how we are telling find an element data with this attribute present over there. Okay, so now after that, what we need to do, we need to find the value tag under that one, under that particular data tag, find the value tag to find the name of my feature, right? So I'll just copy this value over here, I'll paste it over here. So this will become my customized transform.conf for the geospatial lookup. Okay, so let us try to see how whether it's working or not. So there is another catch, maybe if it is not working this time, so I'll tell you that one. It did not work for initially for me. So let us restart Splunk and see whether it's working or not, because I have seen like sometimes this transform.conf changes, it does not accept until and unless I am recreating that particular lookup file over there. Okay, let's see whether this is working in this time or not. Maybe that time it's a glitch. So our Splunk has been restarted. Let us log in over there. Let us go to our search and reporting app and let us run input lookup or India states. Okay, so let us run this one. If you see, it is still fetching the ID column over here, and just to know whether it has taken the changes we have done in our transform.conf, you should be seeing it somewhere over here in the search log. Okay, if I just find it out, this one, let's say extended data over here, you should be able to see it over here. That means it is taking that XPath over here, but it is not fetching anything. Okay, now whether your XPath is correct or not, there are a lot of online tools. You'll be able to find it over here. Just search in Google like XPath validator. There you can give this particular XPath and give that XML file. We have it over here, and you can verify like this particular XPath is correct over there. Okay, so only thing is that Splunk is not able to pick it up. So for that, so what I did that time is I went to settings, I went to lookups. So if you see the lookup table files we added before, right, this indiastates.kmz, I had to delete it, and then I have to recreate that particular file. Hopefully this time it should take that one. So I'll just do that one, India underscore states.kmz. Okay, we will change the permission as well over here, all apps, and then read write, save. Okay, so now let us see whether it works this time or not. It worked for me previously. Input lookup India states. Now if you see it does work over there. Maybe it's a bug in Splunk. Maybe I have to see it. Okay, but it does work this time now. Now if you see, it extracted this 34 states over here, right? So for all these different states, now it has extracted their corresponding location ranges, right? The coordinate ranges over here as a polygon over here. So whatever information we have inside this particular, in the polygon tag over here, it extracted as a location information over here. Okay, for each and every state over here of India. Okay, so whatever KML file you will be using it over here, it should behave similar way. Like it should extract that feature ID, that means different place mark tags, okay, and the feature collection, it's the name of that particular lookup over here, okay. So now we are ready to use this lookup for our query over here, right? Now to test it out, what I'll do is I will just open this one in a separate tab, okay. So I'll just create two basic coordinates for our two different states. Let's say my home state West Bengal and my second state is Karnataka. My second home is Karnataka. So I'll just say make results, okay. I think these two are it just like creating the data over here. Don't worry about this codes over here, nothing fancy. I am doing it over here. So stream stats count means basically I am creating this counter over here 1 and 2, because I'll be checking this one over here. If count equals to 1, so I'll be taking one state coordinates, and the count equals to 2. Okay, I have to take 2 over here. If the count equals to 2, I'll be taking some other state coordinates over here, okay. So this till this point I have just like an event which is having these two fields over here, latitude and longitude value, okay. So now we will be using our lookup file over here, right? So similar way we have done for other lookups. We'll say lookup India underscore states India underscore states. Now over here the two things it takes is called latitude and longitude over here. The name and the case has to be matched over here, okay. So that's why I created the field with this one as well, okay. So I try to use some other field name over here, but it did not work because the input names are same. Input names has to be matched over here as well, okay. So if I just run this one now, if you see, it did not, okay, it did not created anything over here. Let me see the locations value. Okay, I think I change it over here. This has to be 1, because if for the first value it has to assign that 1. So we are checking the if count equals to 1, that means for the first row it should assign this value, and otherwise it should assign this value for count equals to 2. So this is the code issue over here, okay. So if I just run it now, so this two longitude and latitude value are actually belongs to Karnataka and West Bengal over here. If you see, after the lookup it created two new fields called feature ID and the feature collection over here, right? So these two, feature ID and feature collection, will be used by Splunk for the visualization purpose over here, okay. So if I just write something like stats count by feature ID over here, okay. FEATU feature ID over here, okay. So it's basically for each and every state. It just takes a count over here. Now if I just run the geom command, okay, geom India states over here, because I'll show you why I have to pass the lookup name again, because geom commands looks for the lookup name here, okay. But there is a way you do not need to provide that lookup name here as well. I'll show you that one very soon, okay. Now if you see, like after I use the geom command for each and every feature ID and the feature collection, it's actually pulled up that polygon details over here, right? Now if I just go to visualizations over here, okay, and select choropleth map over here, if you see, it is actually showing up those two states over here, right? So if I just say divergent, it will be more prominent, okay. And if I just say show you over here, okay, so these are the two states it's picked up from this coordinate values over here, and it's identified and it's rendered in this Splunk visualizations over here, right? This is my two homes, okay. So so hopefully we got an idea like what geospatial lookups are, okay. Now as I told, like in geom command there is a way you do not need to provide the lookup names over here as well. In that case, what you have to do is the feature collection you need to pull over here as well, okay, because geom command needs this two information, at least feature id and the feature collection, both to pull up this polygon details over there. Okay, so if I just remove that one now and run it, the output will be similar over here. Okay, so in that way you can omit that lookup file names over here as well. Okay, and now if you want to know more about geom commands or how to create maps in Splunk, right, how to render data in world map in Splunk, I have already created video for that one as well. I'll be giving that video link over here as well in this particular video, so that you can refer it. Okay, so this is the overall idea behind a geospatial lookups. Hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Okay, see you in next video.